My name is Jane Bergerson, and I'm a former client of the Healing Center and a longtime volunteer. In 2003, my husband Tom died suddenly following an accident. He was 54 years old, and we had 2 young adult children. I was devastated by the loss of my husband and best friend. I started seeing an individual therapist during that first year, but somehow I knew that I needed something more. My sister-in-law found the Healing Center on the internet and urged me to call. I still remember talking to Kath McCormack for the first time, and I remember walking into my first group in an apartment near the Locks. I knew immediately that I had found what I needed. In that first group, I felt a sense of connection and community with other people whose partners had died. They validated all the feelings that I was having because they were having those same feelings. Even though I was lucky to have a very supportive community of friends and family, these people in my Healing Center group really understood because they too were living with the reality of the death of a partner. My first group was 16 years ago, and I'm still here, but now as a volunteer. For many years, I have co-facilitated adult groups, just like the ones I attended many years ago as a client. I continue to do this because I know how vital these groups are in giving our clients hope after an unimaginable loss. It is a safe place where they can share their innermost feelings without judgment or advice. It is a place where people get it. After every group, my commitment to the Healing Center is reaffirmed as I witness the connections that people make with each other, their willingness to support each other, and listen to each other's stories. These connections are important now more than ever because of the isolation caused by COVID. I am so grateful that I found the Healing Center 16 years ago. I believe without a doubt that it made a difference in the way that I processed my grief and in the life that I have today. It has also helped me stay connected to my husband Tom in a positive way by helping others find their way forward. That is why I am so passionate about the Healing Center by donating my time and money so that others may have the connections and community which will help them find light after loss.
Good evening. I'm so excited you are here with us tonight. My name is Mark Wright, evening anchor for King 5 News in Seattle. I'm honored to be your host for tonight's Healing Center virtual event, Light After Loss. So tonight we're celebrating 20 years of hope and healing, and we plan to have a little bit of fun at the same time as well. So I want to start the evening by saying thank you to everyone who has joined us tonight. Our program starts in about 15 minutes, so grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and get ready to help raise critical funds to help support the ongoing work of the Healing Center, whose staff and volunteers have helped thousands of families through grieving over the past 20 years. You can give at any time tonight by simply visiting healingcenterseattle.org and click on the donate button.
Lost my husband in a tragic motorcycle accident 9 years ago. I had the support of a wonderful therapist, friends and family, but what I didn't have was anything remotely like the connection and community and support that the Healing Center brings. So 1.5 years ago, when I was introduced to the Healing Center and its mission, I felt an instant connection, and I knew that this was where I wanted to spend my time and resources in retirement and hopefully be able to draw on some of my experience to be able to help others.
Hi again, or perhaps for the first time tonight. I'm Mark Wright from King 5 News in Seattle. I'm your pre-welcome host to the Healing Center's Light After Loss 20th anniversary event. Tonight we're going to hear updates about the center. We're going to hear stories from families who've been impacted, and we'll learn how we can help keep this vital service alive to anyone who's grieving in the Seattle area. Our live program starts in about 5 minutes. I'm so glad you're joining us tonight. So don't forget to make a gift as well tonight, if you can, by going to healingcenterseattle.org. Up next is a special example of how art can help in the healing process after the loss of a family member. Gary Andrews is a world-class animator who lives in the United Kingdom. In October of 2017, Gary's wife Joy died suddenly because of sepsis. Gary had been keeping an art diary for about 1.5 years at that point, but decided to continue with it as a way to work through his grief after Joy passed. After his sketches went viral, Gary wrote a book covering his journey as a widower with the hope of helping others in a similar position. And just last month, Gary's book, Finding Joy, was published, and you can find it online. We're so grateful to Gary for allowing us to share this award-winning animated short about Joy's passing, and we hope this will provide inspiration for hope and healing.
Hello everyone, my name is Mary Jackson and I'm a volunteer at the Healing Center. I first learned about the Healing Center 6 months after my husband's sudden and unexpected death. My son had heard about the Healing Center and encouraged me to give it a try. I'm not much of a group person, but I knew I needed help. The clinician who facilitated my group was Kath McCormick, our amazing founder. I not only was helped as a griever by Kath, but I've taken much of her wisdom on to the groups I help facilitate. I began volunteering about 4 years after Bruce's death. I had retired from a 30-year career as a school counselor and had facilitated many different groups during my career. I currently co-facilitate 5 different partner loss groups at the Healing Center. These groups range in size from 4 or 5 clients up to 14 clients. Their ages range from 20 to 80. For some, their loss was only a few months ago. For others, it was a few years. The Healing Center is unique in that clients can continue to attend groups as long as it is helping them. It's such an honor to help provide this safe space for clients who have experienced this devastating loss. I'd like to share with you an email I received from a current client, hoping it conveys the impact this unique and powerful place has on people's lives. And she wrote, "When I'm walking around in the world, I'm sure when other people see me, they think I'm just another normal person out and about. They don't know that I'm walking around with a broken heart and eyes full of tears. When I'm with the grief group at the Healing Center, I feel like I'm home with my tribe, my people. I know that they know I'm not okay and that it's all right that I'm not okay. They know firsthand about tears in eyes and broken hearts. Thank you for your support for this amazing place."
The Healing Center's goal is to support children, adults, and families as they come to terms with the death of a loved one. This is a place where people can stop for a little while, rest, be comforted, meet others who understand, and begin to move through their grief so that ultimately they can begin to make peace and rebuild their lives.
When we do like the circle, we talk about like how old our dad was or how old we were when he died or like what was his name or what's our favorite color or things like that.
So upstairs, and it's basically free play time. So the kids can choose to do the art project if they want, or they can do whatever other kind of art, or they can go into the sand tray room, a room that's just completely full of stuffed animals. This is just a time for kids to do what they need to do to process.
I like it because if I'm with my other friends, they haven't had someone die, so they don't really know what it's like.
One of the most important things I would say about the Healing Center is there's kind of these people who come, like the first comers who have just experienced grief, and then there's people who are kind of going through it and they're at like they can start to breathe and talk about it more, and then there's people who have been grieving for 14, 15 years, and you see the progress. You see that there's hope for you. People start to hold space, they incorporate the grief in their life, and they relearn, kind of like you learn a language. It's a different language, and you just have to start practicing and speaking it, and then you become a little bit more fluent, and this is a little bit more easy to speak about it. And so the Healing Center has held that space for me to be able to do that. So I love you guys.
Hi, I'm Sylvie. And I'm Calla. We're so happy you've joined us in the Healing Center tonight. Thank you so much for being here.
The Healing Center has helped us so much after our dad died, and we want to make sure it's here to support people in their grief. It's so important.
It was definitely a huge help. And now that we're older, we know that there can be light after loss. So sit back, enjoy the anniversary celebration dinner tonight, and enjoy. Thank you for being here.
See you soon.
Bye.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Healing Center's virtual event, Light After Loss, a celebration of 20 years of healing and hope. I'm Mark Wright from King 5 News here in Seattle. It is an absolute honor and a pleasure for me to host this event once again this year. I'm here tonight because I absolutely believe in the Healing Center and the work that it does in the community. Every time we've been together, I've enjoyed seeing how much you care about adults and children in our community who need your help. Tonight, we are here collectively to make a difference. So thank you to Sylvie and Calla for that wonderful introduction to our time together tonight. These two sisters are more commonly known as the Healing Helpers. Earlier this year, they raised money to put together summer care packages for kids served by the Healing Center that were so warmly received. Thank you, Sylvie and Calla, for your kindness and your generosity. So even though we can't be together in person tonight because of the pandemic, tonight you can really help rewrite the story of grieving families in our area at a time when help and support has never been more critical. We're so grateful for the time you're taking out of your busy schedule to be with us here today. And of course, you can give a gift at any time. All the money raised tonight will go to help support families who are facing challenges because of the loss of a loved one. So here's how you give. Just follow the instructions on the screen by going to healingcenterseattle.org and click on Donate. We're raising critical funds to serve the needs of grieving families. They are looking for support that can only come with your help. Your gifts provide opportunities for families to share memories, challenges, lessons, and even laughter during overwhelming grief. So let's make sure the Healing Center is here for another 20 years. Next, we have a special guest, the founding director of the Healing Center, Kath McCormick. Kath first envisioned the center when her husband Rick died suddenly at the age of 33. Her children, Ricky and Barbara, were 3 and 5 years old at the time. Can you imagine that? So Kath envisioned a big old house with a fireplace, a pot of tea and candles and warmth, a place where people could really share comfort, friendship, and laughter, as well as tears. In 2000, Kath and her family moved from the Bay Area to Seattle, where she met 3 other people who'd been widowed as young adults. Together, they started a support group that would later become the Healing Center. Let's hear from Kath now.
I'm Kath McCormack, the founder of the Healing Center in Seattle, Washington, and I'm here today to thank so many people for making the Healing Center possible and for helping the Healing Center continue to offer support to adults, children, and families who are grieving in the Seattle area and beyond. I want to begin by thanking all my friends who came with me in the very beginning, who gave money, some dear friends who gave money for us to incorporate, and so many others who helped us. Our founding board were amazing. Actually, the trust they put in me and my crazy idea, I'm so grateful for. And board members, the current board members, all our board members throughout the years have just put heart and soul into the Healing Center, and I continue to be so grateful. I'm grateful to the people who are managing this event and are allowing us to celebrate 20 years of incorporation as the Healing Center. I want to thank also our therapists who work tirelessly to comfort and support grieving people, and the volunteers, many of whom have been volunteering for years and years, all of whom have their own grief stories, so are able to connect with people so beautifully. I'm just so grateful. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank each and every one of you for all that you've done. The times when we have needed something or were really in danger of not even being able to continue, donors have come forward from all over to help us continue. It feels like a miracle that the Healing Center continues to exist, and especially in this time that is so difficult for grieving people all over, that we can offer the services we offer. And it's only because of each and every one of you that has supported us. Again, thank you. I am so grateful. I will be grateful always for the support that each of you has given to this incredible organization. I'm humbled. I'm amazed at the generosity of people, both giving their time and giving their resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Kath, for the vision you had for the Healing Center 20 years ago, and for all of the volunteers and staff, as well as donors who've supported the center over the past 2 decades. Since its founding in 2000, the Healing Center's mission really has been to support people, children, adults, families, as they come to terms with the death of a loved one. I was able to benefit from the Healing Center several years ago, and some of you may have heard this story when I told it a few years ago, but My son survived a mass shooting at a party during summer break from college, from Gonzaga University. 3 of his friends were killed at a party, and another one was badly wounded. My head was spinning after that event, and I didn't know where to go. I knew Jen McCormick at the Healing Center, and my first phone call after that shooting the next day was to call Jen and just say, Jen, I don't even know where to start with the grief that we're experiencing, and my son who lost 3 of his friends. So she said, come on in. And we went into the Healing Center, my son and I did, and Jen just really walked us through what it meant to sustain that kind of a loss and what we could expect in the weeks and months ahead. And I'll tell you, it was an absolute comfort to have that advice and to have that professional guidance at that time. And this has happened hundreds and thousands of times in its 20-year history at the Healing Center. People who don't know what to do because of a devastating loss, they have a place to go at the Healing Center. So I'm grateful for what the Healing Center has done for me. You know, tonight we can help provide a place where bereaved families can really stop and exist for as long as they need to be comforted, to meet others who really know what they're going through, and also to begin to move through their grief so that ultimately they can begin to make peace with death and rebuild their lives. Let's hear from one of those families right now. Please meet Jason and Lily.
Hi, my name is Jason, and my wife's name was Alice. In mid-2016, she was diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 34. When we heard the news, we were scared, we were lost, but we were also hopeful that we could make it. My daughter Lily was 2 at the time. We went through surgery, chemo, and radiation. Her tumor markers were down and seemed to be under control. Then almost a year after her diagnosis, she started getting shoulder pain. The tumor had spread. Her chances of recovery were slim, and we had to grapple with the question, how hard do you fight when the odds aren't in your favor? She passed away the evening of January 1st, 2018. She made it less than 2 years. Losing a partner, a mother, is one of the worst feelings in the world. Everything was numb. My brain was filled with fog. Sometimes I couldn't do anything but cry. That's when my daughter and I joined the Healing Center. It's been a safe space for us to share our feelings, our struggles, and our successes. I joined a group of recently widowed people, some with kids of similar ages. The stories were all different, but all ended the same. We met twice a month. In our groups, we talked about death and life, the day-to-day troubles, and the huge life events. We were all members of what we called the worst club ever. I got to see what my journey might be like in the future and share my story. I built truly deep connections that I cherish, and I wouldn't be where I am now without them. My daughter as well has had a place to meet other kids who have lost parents or siblings. She has had somewhere to go where everyone understands how she's feeling. Every time, she'd get so excited to go to group. The weeks we missed it, you could definitely tell. Since we've been stuck at home, the loss of our regular group has been noticeable, to say the least. The Healing Center has been an invaluable part of our lives. It has helped us feel just a little more normal. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason and Lily, for sharing your story and how the Healing Center has helped you grieve the loss of Alice. So many people have stepped up to support the Healing Center during the past few months, and of course, I would be remiss if I didn't thank the amazing staff and volunteers who've worked even harder during the pandemic. One Healing Center staff shared with me that she is inspired by the determination of the families who want to find hope and healing, and they also want to help other families who might be grieving at the same time. So I want to ask the question of you, what brings you here tonight? You know, one of the amazing things about being together virtually is that we can communicate and connect in a way that we otherwise wouldn't in person or couldn't. So let us know in the chat window down below, whether you are watching on YouTube or Facebook Live, what is your why for supporting the adults and kids and families served by the Healing Center? I don't think there's a higher calling than helping another human being at their lowest point, when they need help the most. And that's exactly what the Healing Center does. It's a way to inspire each other. At a time when we're going through so much isolation, huge challenges right now to our community, we could all use some inspiration. So let us know why you're here. Now I'd like to share with you someone who makes a difference in all kinds of ways through her leadership at the Healing Center, and I'm talking about board member Kimberly Kelly. In addition to her board responsibilities, Kim volunteered as a facilitator for two of the Healing Center's kids groups, and as a mother of two children herself and having lost her own mom at a very young age, Kim understands the importance of the center's mission to support families in their time of need.
Hi everyone, my name is Kim Kelly and I'm a proud volunteer and board member here at the Healing Center. Thanks so much for tuning in and for being a part of our 20th anniversary celebration in this communal online format. I sure wish we could all connect and celebrate in person, yet the virus is impacting us all. COVID has touched almost every aspect of each of our lives, and it's universal. We can all relate. And what helps us to all cope is knowing that we're all going through this together. But unlike the shared experience of this pandemic, a grieving person or child may feel like there is truly no one who understands how they feel, and their need for that connection and understanding becomes painfully deep. The Healing Center offers that understanding. It's a warm place of solace and comfort, a place where peers offer connection and support. And this connection is a proven way forward through grief that should not be denied anyone who seeks it. I've been with the Healing Center for 10 years now, and I started out as a volunteer and the facilitator for our kids groups. And after seeing so closely the impact that our services had on the families I worked with, I wanted to get more involved. And it was also personal. My mother died when I was 6, and I wanted to help ensure that our center would always be there for those who needed it, as there was nothing like this for me and my family when I was young. I am so proud that our city has a service that you or I can refer a friend or acquaintance to when they are in such great need. The Healing Center is effective and it's transformative. It's medicine through community and caring. I love being a part of this amazing organization that does so much for so many. The board, the staff, our volunteers, they are all such caring people that use their time and talent to create this special place. And if you're watching this, you're also a caring person. So we're hoping to connect with you, to hope and help that you ensure that we're here for the next family or individual that needs the Healing Center. Thank you for your support on behalf of the board, and please give so that others going through grief may never feel alone.
Thank you, Kim. And you know, you're right. We all need each other more than ever now before. And tonight we can really join together to make an impact on grieving families in our community. So please consider how you can make your impact. Donations, large and small, can be made by texting LIGHT AFTER LOSS to 44321 or by heading to the Healing Center's website. It's healingcenterseattle.org and click on Donate. Let me tell you a little bit more about what your donations actually will do. Gifts at $5,000 or more are recognized as Healing Center mission partners. A gift of $2,500 funds all of the children's groups for a month, so consider that. $1,000 funds 1 year of grief support for a family. $750 funds grief support for an individual for an entire year. $500 funds a community building event. $250 funds a 3-day training for 15 new volunteers. So that's how far those dollars will go. Thank you so much for considering what you're able to donate tonight. Every amount helps. So let's take a minute to recognize some very generous gifts coming in. The Kiwanis University Club of Seattle, $5,000. Thank you for that. Joel Yarger, $500. Chelsea Samanti, $250. Create, $5,000. Kathy Harris, $100. Dan Bridge, $100. Paula Pardini, $50. Thank you so much for the generosity being shown tonight. You know, for the past 20 years, the Healing Center has opened its doors and arms to children and teens who've lost a parent. Through one-on-one counseling, support groups, and referrals to other resources, the Healing Center helps to make space for peer connection and honest conversations about what it means to lose a parent. Now we're going to hear from Bailey, who's currently in our teen group, and Wyatt, one of the Healing Center's amazing volunteers for the teen program.
I'm Wyatt Evans. I'm 26, and I am a project manager in the construction industry. I wanted to give back through volunteering, specifically through the grief community, when I found the Healing Center, mainly because when I was 12, my dad died, and I was in a grief group as well, and it did a lot for me and gave me an outlet and a place where I could be amongst my peers who truly understood what I was going through. And being able to volunteer, I can now be the person that the kids look to see what is down the line, and then also kind of be not someone that gives advice, but someone that can tell personal stories, personal experiences, and see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The teens in the current group I've gotten to know over the last 2 years, especially Bailey, who's been here almost as long as I have. They're amazing kids, and they come here every other week. They sit down with each other. They come from all different backgrounds. They sit down, they connect, they open up, and I'll use Bailey as a perfect example. She has been here for a while now, so she is comfortable in this space. So she is a bit of a beacon for the other kids in the group. As soon as they see another teenager opening up, they feel safe, they feel comfortable in the group, and then they open up as well.
Before I found the Healing Center, I tried a few other group therapies, and they didn't work out quite as well because I was like the oldest one there, because they're mostly just little kids. And then now that I found the group, they have different age groups for every single person. So when I first came, I came in with another new person, and they were kind of like the funny, outspoken one at first, and I was the shy and reserved one. And now it's kind of the opposite. Like, he's the shy and reserved one, I'm the one who's outspoken. So yeah, it's definitely helped a lot when you have somebody else coming in with you, but the fact that he was funny and opened up first helped me a lot to open up to everybody else. And having another volunteer here who was going through that process, and it's been like 18 years for them, it helps you see where you might be in a few years. It really helps me, at least.
The teens do a lot for me because they actually also give me an outlet to talk about some of the things that I've never been able to share. And they listen to things that I have to say. And every time I leave, I don't leave feeling sad or dread or things like that. I just feel a lot of uplifting emotions because they're helping me without even realizing it. And that I hope that they can see my experiences and then they can take those home and it can help them as well.
I didn't talk to people at all in middle school. And then once I finally found the Healing Center, I did open up a lot more about my, how I was feeling, and I felt like I mattered here. And in a big school, that doesn't really happen a lot. People don't pay attention to each individual student. So having a place where you can come here and everybody talks about it, and there's no shame and no people being left behind, I think that helped me a lot in my grieving process.
So the teens in group are really amazing kids who come together from all these different backgrounds to come into the group and share their experiences. It's just been really amazing to see them open up, share everything that they're going through, share the deaths of their loved ones, and then connect with each other in ways that you might not usually see a teenager open up.
The people here, they're so positive and they're so helpful in their journey. They don't pressure you to answer anything. They don't press you to do anything. They mostly just let you be you, and then when you're ready, you can speak up. Or if you're never ready, then you can just sit there and listen to everybody else telling their story, and that could even help anybody who's struggling with figuring out what their emotions are or what they want to do in their life next, and this was holding them back. It really helps a lot if you just give it a chance.
Death and grief matures kids to the nth degree, and to be a fly on the wall, you would realize how important that the things that these kids are saying, the feelings that they have, you would understand how important it is. That's the thing for me. When you say why is it so important? It's because if you were actually here and you saw it and you saw what they were feeling, you would realize that this is the highest level of mental health, and it has a profound impact on kids and teenagers all the way down the line for the rest of their lives. You carry it forever.
Thank you so much, Bailey and Wyatt. Teens and school-age children are certainly facing a lot of disruption today because of the pandemic. I can't even imagine adding the loss of a parent. I'm so grateful for the Healing Center, that it's here to help. Let's make sure that these much-needed services are here for anyone who needs them now and in the future. All right, I've got some exciting news to announce. We have a $40,000 challenge match. So because of the generosity of several donors, all donations tonight of $1,000 or more will be doubled. Your $1,000 becomes $2,000, $5,000 becomes $10,000. Just text Light After Loss to 44321 or go to healingcenterseattle.org and click on Donate. It's that easy to double your gift. So special thanks to the following donors who made that $40,000 match possible: Kim Isaac Brooks, Jim Caputo, Cynthia Firestein, Jessica Abramson, Lott, Robin Negrin, Colin Turpening, Shannon Treverton, Megan Werzer. Thank you so much. And don't forget, if you work for a company that offers a matching gift program, please submit the paperwork to have your gift doubled. All right, now let's recognize some of the other donations as they're coming in. Howie Choder, $400. Thank you, Howie. Claire O'Connor, $250. Flip Morse, $5,000. Flip, thank you so much. Helen Mitchell has donated $100. Andrea Rosenberg, $50. Michael Kelly, $1,000. Thank you so much to everyone who's been donating tonight to support grieving families in our area. Your generosity is so appreciated. You know, one of the Healing Center's strengths is its clinical staff. They are unsurpassed in their ability to connect with people, and they're really the glue of the Healing Center. Right now, we will hear from 3 of the center's clinicians, Jen, Scott, and Kelsey.
Hi, my name is Jen McCormick, and I am the clinical director of the Healing Center. I've been a social worker for my entire career, and after I got my graduate degree, I worked in community mental health, and then decided to make the switch to hospice. And from there, working with kids and grief became sort of a natural fit and passion of mine. So when I worked for hospice, I actually volunteered for Camp Aaron, and kind of heard about the Healing Center through them. And then I had also worked for a similar organization to the Healing Center while I was living in Michigan. And so I knew that I wanted to get involved with the work that was being done here. Well, I think a couple of things that makes the Healing Center stand out. One is that the groups not only provide you with a place for community within the type of loss that you've had, so spouse, partner, or other types of loss. They also provide the space for where you are at in your loss journey. So for people who have just had a loss, within the last week to a few months, they're welcome into what's called the early group, and can be in community with people who are also processing very new and very painful information. And then there's the next group for adults, the transition group, which is after you've kind of been through that initial phase of grief and understanding of how your life is changed, then you can be in community with people who are then sort of farther down the road, at least time-wise. And then for kids, I think it's really significant the way that we conduct our services, because it's divided up by age. And obviously different kids of different ages are in different developmental phases. And so the way that they process and the way that they understand the death of their person is going to look very, very different. And so we have the capacity to build groups really around that developmental phase that each child is in. I think, without the Healing Center, there wouldn't be a safe place for kids and adults to turn to. Again, of course, there's other types of services that address grief, but there's something unique that the Healing Center provides in the sense that, you are accepted here in whatever process you're in whatever way you need to process your grief. And we talk about it in a very real and authentic way. We call it death to kids. We don't try to cover it up and pretend that it's something that it's not, which is an incredibly painful and life-changing experience. And when that's not addressed, when a place like this is not available, parents who have lost a spouse or a partner who then have to go on to raise their children and haven't been able to process or meet other people in similar situations simply don't have as many resources during times of subsequent crisis that comes up after a death. So having people to rely on, people to talk to, knowing that you're not alone, knowing that you don't have to feel isolated and disenfranchised in your grief. And the same goes for kids. When a kid has a loss, of a mom or a dad or a sibling, they often feel very alone in their experience with their other friends and in their school community because it's not an everyday experience. And so coming to the Healing Center is a place for them to be with other kids who've had that same experience. And that's really, really powerful and important. So one of the things that happens here at the Healing Center is people come in with all different types of stories and all different ways of processing their story. And we are able to provide an environment that is accepting and loving of all stories. And I think, without sort of having a top-down kind of philosophy, what we do is provide a community, a space where people can be together and have connection. And within that connection, you're able to find, as a person who comes in with a story that feels scary or feels hard to talk about, or you're not quite convinced if this is going to help, when you see other people looking at you and nodding and understanding your story, you suddenly feel a connection that you would never have been able to feel before. And that's so validating. And it really, truly builds that resilience. And it's so true for kids and adults.
Hi, my name's Scott Rutledge, and I am a grief and loss therapist. And I have been involved with the Healing Center for about 10 years. I think one of the things that drew me to the Healing Center at the time was it is a non-denominational place. We get all kinds of people from all different walks of life. So you get to come here and be who you are. What the Healing Center really offers and why it's critical is people come here looking for their tribe. They're lost. It literally feels like for them that they are on Mars. And when they walk through the door and have their first meeting with somebody, to see another Martian sitting across from them is very comforting. The Healing Center is about processing your grief. And people say, well, what does that mean? It really means at the end of the day that you get to do it in your own time frame. And if you have to come and sit for a couple of months and just listen to others before you can speak, you can do that. So there's no tight time frame that tells you have to, talk in the beginning. And so it honors that space. But at the same time, you do get tools as you listen to other people in the group. And through that process, they learn to love again and care about other people and allow themselves to feel safe in that, because the other people are hurting just as much as they are. And ultimately, that creates a place for them to reinvest in the community by taking that message of trusting that, yes, hard things in life happen, but you can take that and you can use that to create a more meaningful place in the world. Well, so why should you donate to the Healing Center when you have so many choices out in the world? You actually are saving and changing lives by putting money towards this organization. And when people come to the Healing Center, one of the hardest words is called hope. When I would do my intakes with people, I would always ask them to hold on to just a tiny speck of hope and to have them go through the group process, and however long that person takes, hope becomes a part of their life again.
Hi, so my name's Kelsey Sawyer, and I am the Youth Program Manager at the Healing Center. When I was a senior in high school, I had a significant death happen in my life, my friend Jenny. And she was a dancer just like me, and that kind of inspired me to take the path of grief work. When I was younger at school, I didn't really have that support from the school or from my peers, so I thought that it was really important, obviously, to receive that. So in our society, grief isn't really taken seriously. There's not really space made for grief to be prioritized or talked about or felt. So it's really important to have spaces like the Healing Center where you're able to kind of come and really feel what you need to feel with your grief and speak authentically and openly with other people who get it. Kids process grief differently than adults do, and so They need different things within their grief to be able to address their certain needs. So a lot of times kids don't have the words to be able to express what they're going through. They don't know how to say exactly how they're feeling. What they do know how to do is play and express themselves through other creative arts, movement, sound, music, whether it's drawing or maybe journaling. These kids are really special. They're compassionate, kind kids who are aware of what's going on in the world and who are feeling that, and they're feeling their grief. And they really need a space like this to be able to express that. Supporting the Healing Center is important because grief affects everyone. Everyone will have a moment where they grieve in their life. And without the support that we provide at the Healing Center, it's a really difficult experience to get through on your own.
Thanks so much, Jen, Scott, and Kelsey. You know, it's important for us to remember that grief counseling isn't just kind of a nice thing. This is an essential thing for people to get their lives back on track. Without capable professional therapy, the devastating loss of a parent or a spouse can lead to a woefully long list of unfortunate outcomes. Alcoholism, drug abuse, depression, relationship problems are so common among those who've lost a parent and didn't get the right kind of help. So the work the Healing Center does isn't just for the good of kids and parents they serve. It is really for the good of the entire community. So as the need for the Healing Center's services continues to grow, and like most nonprofits, their primary funding comes from individual donations, the Healing Center simply couldn't exist if it wasn't for the funding provided by caring community members like you. And without the existence of the Healing Center, think about this, thousands of people would go without support at such a critical time of need. So you have the opportunity today to make a huge difference in the lives of those who are suffering with a gift. Maybe you can give $20,000, $5,000, or $250. Each gift, no matter the amount, will literally help transform lives. Let's acknowledge a few more donations right now. And don't forget, there is a match challenge for all gifts of $1,000 or more. Tonight, Kate Ramstead, $250. Kathy Habib, $1,000. Karen DeGrazia, $160. Alyssa Stone, $100. Brent Jeffers, $50. Justin Calvo, $500. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. All right, before we sign off tonight, we have a special keynote conversation between Healing Center founder Kath McCormick and Michelle Neff Hernandez. Michelle is Executive Director of Soaring Spirits International, whose singular goal is to connect widowed people to one another. Michelle is also a longtime friend of Kath, and we're so excited to listen to their candid conversation tonight.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 20th anniversary of the Healing Center. I'm Michelle Neff Hernandez, and I am so proud and honored to be here with the Healing Center founder, Kath McCormick. Hi, Kath.
Hi, Michelle. It's so nice to see you.
You as well, and to be here celebrating such an incredible milestone for the Healing Center. 20 years. Can you believe it? What you discovered in those early days was that people found value in having others around them who had a shared experience, who were all grieving and understood what it was like to learn to live life without your partner. So in the early stages, did that start to form and inform what you would do next?
No, it really did. When I was still in California, my kids and I went to a place called the Center for Attitudinal Healing, and it wasn't just for widowed people, but it was for kids who'd lost a family member and their surviving family. And that was kind of the beginning of me understanding that connection was the most important thing. And some of those people that I met during that time, you know, I continue to stay connected with. And it's been 31 years since Rick died. And still there are some days when I would like to reach out to one of those people, you know, on an anniversary or my daughter's marriage or, you know, some of those important times. So that was clear to me that it wasn't so much, I mean, it's wonderful that we offer therapeutic support for people. That's important. But what was really important was the connection that people made with each other. And to this day, that connection is lifelong for people. That is a powerful thing.
What I think I find most inspiring is that people come together in their grief and then they live life together. So what begins as one of the saddest, most difficult parts of their life lends to these meaningful relationships that really last a lifetime. When people have met you at that really, really hard time and you form a bond, it tends to be a bond that sticks and that provides lifelong support through all the ups and downs of what might be next for life, right?
That's so true. I mean, I have people who were in group together, 25 years ago or 28 years ago, and who are still the closest of friends and get together when they have important times. They want to spend them together. They stay connected always. And that is such a beautiful thing. And it just speaks to just how important connection is and having other people who get it really forever. It's so nice.
Really forever. And I think the other thing is that it's difficult to understand why these lifelong connections continue to be important unless you've lived it. But what strikes me is that, as a community, as a global community, we're all grieving right now. We're grieving a lot of different things. And when we specifically speak to the pandemic, there's so many people who are newly grieving. And the reality is that life will go back to whatever normal becomes for all the rest of us, right? But the people who are grieving are going to still be in need. And that's exactly why a place like the Healing Center, that's why the Healing Center's work is so important, because they have the opportunity to be served, not just in their early widowhood or their early grief days, which of course are vitally important, but as an ongoing connection as they begin to rebuild their lives. And I know that you and I have talked a lot about the power of having a community, but I wonder, as you look back over all of these years, what's one of the things you're most proud of that the Healing Center offers?
I think what I'm most proud of is that, and so touched by, is that people feel so safe the minute they, when they're in person, the minute they walk in that door, they feel comfort, they feel safe. And now in our situation, the minute they walk in that virtual door, the minute they join a Zoom meeting, they feel better. They look around, talking with other people, and everybody's nodding their head. They get it. And I'm so proud that we can continue to offer that. And the other thing that I'm so proud about is we have so many families that we've served over the years. And as those little beautiful children who have had a parent die or a sibling die are so, it's just so tragically sad in the beginning. And to watch those children grow and become adults, and I have had the pleasure to get to be able to see that and to be able to stay connected over so many years with families. And I see how resilient they are and how beautiful they are in some ways because of what they've been through. But not just what they've been through, but the way they were supported through their journey. And that just brings me so much joy. Every time somebody, and I get messages all the time and pictures of families, and, they're so proud of their children. And I see it in my kids too. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. And I think it really speaks to the purpose, the main purpose of coming together, of providing therapeutic services, of having a space for people to come together, is to be able to foster resilience, in people, and then to witness the growth of that resilience, and then see the way that resilience impacts our whole world. Because as we heal hearts one at a time, we send people back out into the world, and they have the power to heal hearts too. And so it is a gift that just keeps on giving and giving. And I have this really clear sort of dreamy vision of the Healing Center walls. I think it's incredible. The organization I serve on doesn't have walls really. And so to imagine a place that does have walls is really powerful for me. To be able to have people actually within those walls is so beautiful. But I think that what the 20 years of the Healing Center, from time of incorporation to now, let alone the almost 30 years you've been doing this work, is to have this huge virtual house where just all of that love and healing exists, and it pours out the windows, it pours out the doors, and every time someone comes in, they're not only wrapped up in the immediacy of the people around them that are available to help them and support them in their healing, but with that energy of all those other people. They come into a space where the energy of all the healing that has been done wraps them up, in addition to offering them resources that are going to be valuable right that minute. And like you said, whether that entry is through a Zoom call, or if they have the opportunity to actually enter through the doors, and when we will be meeting in person, but I really honor that, and I hope that our community, the Healing Center community, during this virtual event really celebrates that, because you've mentioned to me there's so many people who are part of it, right? The volunteers and all of the people who have been a part of making the Healing Center possible for these 20 years. And here we are doing a virtual event to be able to continue the work. So in closing, two things I want to ask. One is, what is your wish for the Healing Center over the next 20 years?
My wish is that the Healing Center continues in all the ways that it has been working, and it continues to grow and serve more and more people. And my wish is, someday we have a beautiful, space with acreage and playground. There's lots of things in my big vision. My wish is also that other healing centers spring up throughout the world, because I think what the Healing Center offers is an incredible gift to the community, to our Seattle community, and that I want that to continue, and I believe that it will continue. I think people care enough to be part of that solution of continuing to grow, even in the midst of this incredibly challenging time, because right now it is more important than ever.
Well, you came to my next question already, which was, what could people do to help? And the answer to that is to be able to help in whatever ways you're able, even in the midst of this very challenging time, because the reality is more people need healing, more people need grief support, more people need to build resilience than ever before. And this opportunity to come together and support that work is incredible. So for all of our participants who are joining us in this awesome celebration, there's a couple easy ways to help, and the first is to donate. If you have the ability to donate to help continue this work, we are so grateful, because there are many, many people coming who are in need and who will benefit greatly from the resources that the Healing Center offers. Kath, I just want to say how inspired I am by the work you've done, how grateful I am for the generosity of your heart, and what a gift it is to be a part of this evening. So thank you so much. And everyone, donate, 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 watch, 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 and know that you're making a difference, and we're super grateful. Thanks so much. Good, and we'll see you guys all soon.
Thanks, Michelle. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for your inspiring words, Kath and Michelle. The Healing Center is a place to grieve, but it's also a place to live and to celebrate. 20 years, it's just the beginning. So let's all be inspired by the Healing Center's founder, Kath. One person can make such a huge difference, even in a time of grief. And Kath took something that was a huge tragedy and turned it into a gift to the community, to the rest of us. So with your generosity, you can continue giving that gift. You've provided hope for tons of adults and teens and kids, enabling them to have a safe place to express brokenness and healing. The words thank you just are not enough to express the gratitude that we have for what you've done here tonight. Thank you so much to everyone who's being so generous tonight. We'd like to recognize the following donors. Thank you so much for your generosity for supporting the Healing Center. I had a great time being your host this evening. Don't forget to make your gift by texting LIGHT AFTER LOSS to 44321, or go to thehealingcenterseattle.org and click on Donate. On behalf of everyone at the Healing Center, be well, good night, and thanks.
Hello again. We just wanted to hop back on and say thank you so much for being here and for our support tonight. This night was huge, and you really helped.
Yes, it's because of you that the Healing Center will be available to so many people who really need it.
Your support makes a big, big impact. If you haven't had a chance to donate yet, there's still time. Thanks again. You rock. We can do this. Woo!